because this morning the R&A released their official statement on upcoming Open Championship venues, saying, quote, "We had no plans to stage any of our championships at Turnberry and will not do so in the foreseeable future. We will not return until we are convinced that the focus will be on the championship, the players and the course itself, and we do not believe that is achievable in the current circumstances." So let's bring back in our team, Jimmy Roberts, Jaime Diaz and Eamon Lynch. Eamon, you wrote some pretty strong words on this decision in your latest Golf Week article. Where do you sit on the issue?
Well, I think, Anna, this represents the culmination of what has been a long downward slide in the relationship between Donald Trump and the powers that be in the game of golf. And that's a relationship that started out troubled, but frankly because of Donald Trump's tendency towards grandiose statements and grandstanding. The relationship then became tainted when he came down that escalator in Trump Tower and launched his presidential campaign with a racist broadside at Mexican immigrants. And finally, by the time we got to this point, it's downright toxic. And this isn't just a reaction, I think, to what has happened in the last few days or even the last few weeks. This is a hedge by the PGA of America against what may yet come, which none of us actually know what that is. But that 22 PGA Championship is held during a midterm election year, and it seems fanciful to think that Donald Trump will be any less incendiary a public figure 16 months from now than he is at the moment. And I just don't think the PGA of America is willing or able to take the potential financial and reputational exposure of that association.
Yeah, I think, Eamon, you're onto something, of course, in terms of the potential for Donald Trump to still have the same kind of toxic effect. I think he's been somewhat, neutralized by being banned from Twitter. That's always been his biggest tool against his opponents. And by not having it, I think the PGA of America can feel a little safer that they're not going to be out in the public forum and had mud thrown at them so much. But, I think it was the right thing for the game. There's all these other financial considerations and business considerations and branding, but the PGA of America, just like the USGA and the R&A, really represent the game. And this, Donald Trump's actions, in particular recently, are antithetical to the values of golf. And to associate with that kind of behavior is almost anti-golf. If you're going to be scrutinized, you're going to look like a hypocrite. So I think really Seth Waugh, articulated he couldn't do it. He couldn't keep going. You had to separate. And much of the world is separating from Donald Trump. And it's a hardball situation because that's how Donald Trump plays. But it's the way it has to be done because it is the means to the right end. And I think right now it's uncomfortable, but it's something that the PGA of America did, I think, boldly and held their head high through something difficult.
Eamon, to me, it just seems like this is the latest example of the fact that sports and golf just doesn't exist in a vacuum, does it?
No, shut up and dribble has just never seemed more inappropriate, Jimmy, because, sports is life for a lot of people, and they certainly intersect in quite a few ways. And, Donald Trump is a golfer. He may actually be more of a golfer than he is a politician, frankly, because people underestimate just how long and how hard and how assiduously Donald Trump worked to get that major championship. And I think even the people in his inner circle would tell you it probably meant more to him than the pursuit of the presidency did 5 years ago when he began that campaign. And to have it taken away from him, I actually think will hurt worse than losing the election did. But, he really only has himself to blame in this situation, Jimmy. He has created the environment that left his potential partners inside the world of golf with no other option. And frankly, the R&A are probably sitting over there in St Andrews quite happy that they got sucked into this situation far less than the USGA or the PGA of America have.
Golf is a huge passion of Donald Trump's. We know that. It's the sport that he is the most connected to out of any sport. He owns at least 17 golf clubs around the world. A lot of those are in Florida, more to be opening up in Dubai and Indonesia. Jaime, he's not going anywhere in the world of golf. Where is his role now?
Well, it may be isolated to his own places. Had he accepted the election in an orthodox way and committed to a peaceful transfer of power and, gone into the distance with some dignity in terms of being a former president, instead of now not even attending the inauguration, he might have had, a future in professional golf, not professional golf, but, the organizations that put on these great tournaments that he wants to be so associated with. But his behavior has just made him, a pariah, basically. And so, yes, he's going to have his golf courses, but it's going to be like like Xanadu and Citizen Kane. I mean, he's going to be staying there, or maybe Mar-a-Lago. He is not part of the greater world of golf anymore, nearly to the same extent that he wanted to be or tried to be and was for a short time.
And it's also worth noting, Jaime, that if he is a pariah personally, he's also rendered some of the great venues in professional golf history as untouchable as well. I mean, even his critics would say that the renovation that his team did at Turnberry in Scotland was fantastic on what was already one of the premier venues in the world of golf. But now that venue has been rendered untouchable by the R&A for the Open Championship. The same effect was held whenever he bought the Doral Resort in Miami, and the PGA Tour had held an event there from 1962 until 2016 when they were forced to move it because of the affiliations with Donald Trump. So his effect will be felt long after he himself has just retired to Bedminster to play golf every day.
It is a sad situation, certainly for the game of golf and what we consider. I don't think anybody would argue that what Donald Trump has done to some of the facilities that he has taken charge of has been anything but positive.